Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio. Mike Stidham here talking some mixed martial arts. This segment is brought to you by Aztec Highway. Get it your way at the highway, WDFA. Now, I happened to stop at Aztec Highway on the way over here, and I was actually, it's been vastly improved since the last time I'd been there, and it hasn't been that long in terms of their selection. They've got a lot of really cool stuff over there. In fact, we bought a tap-out watch for my son's friend. He's got a birthday that he's a big MMA fan. So anyway, Brandon Reese in studio here, and I'm excited to have him on. I've been trying to get him on for a while. He was just a busy guy, man. He teaches classes and teaches seminars and that kind of stuff. So I'm glad to have him on the show. And we mentioned it in the earlier segment, but I don't think a lot of people knew that, Brandon, you actually fought an MMA match. And I was curious to find out, why did you not pursue a career in MMA? Why did you decide to go in the grappling direction?
Well, back at the time, I took the fight. It was recently about before I got married. So
yeah,
it was either well, there was other things too. I'd actually been invited to come and train Greco-Roman wrestling at the Olympic Training Center, and so it was kind of, continue to try to fight or go chase my Olympic dreams. So I really felt like, once in a lifetime opportunity to go train at the Olympic Center and chase that opportunity. Fighting's always going to be there, but that was a big,
there are not a lot of guys that get the chance to go train at the Olympic Training Center. How did you get invited out to go out there?
Basically, how it works is if you qualify by placing at the national tournament, they'll invite you out and you can come train and use the facilities and things like that. I was at a point where I was actually able to go and live out there as part of the training. So that's kind of reserved for a lot of the better guys. So I say it was definitely an honor and a privilege to be able to go do that. So I felt like I needed to pursue that, and I kind of just picked up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kept on doing that.
Yeah,
at the same time as I was training in Greco-Roman wrestling, and it's worked out really well.
And your brother was a super stud Greco-Roman wrestler too. Didn't he place in the Worlds?
Yeah, my brother Justin, he was a world bronze medalist back in 2005. He's been the #1 guy in the U.S. for a long, long time, and he's hoping to make the Olympic team for 2012.
That's amazing. So is he back at the Olympic Training Center now, or what's he doing?
No, he's moved on from there. He's actually back here in Orem, and he's training down with UVU and doing some things down there. So,
do you ever wrestle with your brother?
We're such divergent paths at this point. I've kind of removed myself from the Greco-Roman arena. I was done with that, and back in 2008 was my last run. And he's really Greco-based, and I'm more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling based at this point. And so when we do get together, it's mostly just playing around, having a good time. And he's so hard to get a hold of. He's out of the country every other couple weeks. So
is that like ballroom dancing and hip hop?
When we get
Greco
together,
and Jiu-Jitsu, it's not the same. I mean, is it hard to do one?
I don't know if that's the best analogy, but yeah, it's. I mean, they're still similar, but they don't. I mean, it's really different end goals. So
now he's training down with the UVU guys. That's a
he's right now he's still training for himself, but he's got a couple other guys that are coming out to train. So
where are you training, Brandon?
That's a good question. I've been doing things on my own for the last couple of years. I've been in and out of a couple different places. Right now, I'm over at Jeremy Horn's place. I can't help it. It's just right down the street from where I live, and just my family situation is ever evolving. I've got 3 kids, 1 more on the way.
I was going to say ever evolving. I think you have a little part to do in that.
I do, a big part.
Keep planting seeds, man.
Yeah. So just to kind of make it simple, I just started doing stuff over there, a little bit here and there. So,
are you teaching over there or just training over there?
No, it's just trying to get some mat time. Really, is all it is. And so, I was doing another project with another friend of mine, Jeremy Hunt Lovelace, and we were actually trying to get a little wrestling/grappling club going. We were making some good headway. We probably had to get 15 to 20 guys coming, and then we had some issues with that, and it's back down to me. And
I know how it goes, man. So, I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah.
What made you kind of get out of wrestling and into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? And you went from wrestling to grappling. What was the nexus behind that?
I think just I saw the potential that I had as far as a competitor with grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I love wrestling. I still train a lot of wrestling, and actually a lot of the competition grappling that I do, my strategy is still very heavy wrestling based. But as far as trying to make Olympic teams and doing those kind of things, it's just really tough. Like, you have to live it, breathe it, diet, and it's not conducive for really having a family. You got to go overseas all the time, and with grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's a lot more tournaments, there's a lot more opportunity, there's a lot more ways to win. And after 2008, I just really decided I needed to focus on grappling, and it's been a great change. I've had a lot more success. Basically the success that I've always dreamed of, internationally and everything else. So it's been a great switch over for me.
You've achieved a lot of success, and I think a testament to that is, if you Google Brandon, he's on like 10 different teams. Like, people claim you as part of their team.
Yeah.
What team are you on? Are they all legitimate, or what's the story there?
Well, I don't know. I haven't checked all those posts. Maybe I better. But yeah, no, I'm actually affiliated with a number of different people, and the biggest one that people will be familiar with here is Team Machado, Utah, and so I'm a Machado Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Also Grapplers Edge from Denver, Sheldon Marr, his team. Sheldon, for those of you that may not be familiar, he's actually the U.S. grappling coach, one of the coaches for the U.S. grappling team. So I've been really fortunate to know Sheldon and have been able to compete with him, going on almost 8-9 years now, since 2003. So
I'm glad you told me that, because I keep getting these emails from the guy saying, "Hey, congratulations to our teammate." And I was going to write him back, "Hey, he's our teammate, man." All right, maybe now this guy dumped me on my head, so I probably just better let it be.
Yeah, no, I met Sheldon actually when I was out at the Olympic Training Center, and he's been a really good coach and a really good friend, and I owe a lot of my success as a competitor to Sheldon. So.
Fila World Grappling Champion Brandon Ruiz joining us on the program. Now, Brandon, tell us about the tournament you just won. Tell us about the matches you had. And I understand you beat a guy in the finals that you had previously lost to last year or something like that?
Actually, that was at the trials. The trial to make the team, I had to beat fellow U.S. Teammate Kelly Einenson, and he was a 2-time world champion for Fila and the 2009 World Championships. I was actually on 2008 and 2009 World teams. I was second at both 2008 and 2009. I was second to Jeff Monson in 2008, and then 2009 I was second to Kelly. And at the trials, I was actually able to beat Kelly in the finals, and so that was a big win for me. That was a big, how do you say, I guess, big avenged match.
Sure.
Or grudge match. Not grudge match.
It just got to feel good.
Yeah, it felt good because I knew at the time in 2009 I was going into the trials. I was coming off going into the World Championships in 2009. I was coming off of an injury. I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be physically. I kind of overlooked Kelly a little bit just because of my previous, accomplishments at the Olympic Center and being a black belt. And, you just can't overlook anybody. And, I learned a hard lesson, but I'm glad I learned it, and I got better from it. And so I beat Kelly in the trials, and then at the World Championships, I was able to beat Canada. I beat Russia, submitted Russia. That was pretty cool.
You beat the whole country of Russia.
Yeah,
man, that is awesome.
I beat Brazilian in the semifinals, and then in the finals I beat Sweden, and Sweden was actually the returning champion from 2010. So on my way to win this world championship, I beat 2 world champs. And so
awesome. Now, did you grow up in the Cold War era?
I did.
Yeah, to me, I did too. And when I fought in an international karate tournament, I beat this Russian dude. I was like, yeah. So I felt like Rocky, man.
People get excited about that kind of thing. And to me, it's like, well, it's exciting, but we're not. Russia's cool now. I mean, we don't like Russia.
Brandon,
anymore.
what are you beating these guys with? Are you submitting these guys? Do you have like a go-to move, like Jeff Monson has his pec choke that he always uses? Do you have something like that you're known for?
I did the pec choke on Russia actually, so that was kind of cool. I have my go-to stuff. But this particular tournament, I felt like my game plan, when I saw the European style, they play a really open style. They do a big combination of Sambo plus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu plus wrestling. So you go to the U.S. tournaments, you go to even like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation tournaments, there's a lot. It's a different style. It's a lot more guard centric, and there's once in a while a few good wrestlers. But this was good wrestling, good leg locks, good guard game. So I played a little bit more conservatively. I used a lot of my top game strategy. I could have opened up and tried for a few more submissions, but honestly, I just wanted to win the title, and I didn't care how ugly it looked. So, and that's the way it was. It's a position game, and that's kind of the game that I played. I wanted to keep my legs intact, and so I didn't want to come home without an ankle, and
all that comes with experience.
It's tough. Right? Yeah, I mean, they're tough guys, and just from 2008 until this World Championships, the talent pool has really increased. Actually, the guy that I beat from Russia, he was actually a former NFL football player, so big, strong guy, real athletic. Sweden, real good jiu-jitsu, really tough guard game. He had me scared a couple times with some of his guard attacks, but that's the thing. You have to have a good strategy, and you have to be able to implement it. And I was really excited that I was able to do that. So, I would have liked to pull out a few more submissions, but I really wanted the hardware this time.
And this tournament is a no-gi tournament, right?
Yeah, actually, Fila does a no-gi and a gi tournament. They're trying to develop grappling throughout the world, and actually, Fila is a true world championships. There were 20-some-odd different countries there. Poland, Russia, United States, Brazil, Canada, Spain, all these different countries all over France, all these different countries, and they're coming under one set of rules and really trying to blow it up. Europe's really exploding right now with grappling. Fila is the international governing body of wrestling, and people talk about, we could see grappling in Olympics. Well, it's not going to happen unless it's through Fila. Yeah. And so this is really exciting for me because it is a true international tournament. I mean, you go to like a Grappler's Quest or a NAGA, and I've won Grappler's Quest, I've won NAGA, I even won a world title from NAGA. But when you go to their quote unquote world championships, it's really a few U.S. guys and maybe a Brazilian guy. It's not a true world championships. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation World Championships, they're legitimate. You'll get a little bit of international guys, but not nearly the level of international flavor where it's one country versus one country.
Well, speaking of international flavor, now you realize if that Russian guy was in the NFL, that's just soccer. Right?
Or rugby.
Is it?
Or rugby.
I don't know. He was pretty big. He didn't look like no soccer player.
All right. Now, I understand you've got a fight team. Do you still have your fight team you were training? And is that still on?
Kofi Adzitso is basically my fight team at this point.
Are you guys both training over at Jeremy's place then?
Yeah, we're just working out.
He just follows you wherever you go, right?
He does. He's great. He's a great student. He's a great friend. He's a great training partner, and I couldn't do a lot of what I do without Kofi.
In fact, I wanted to, and I don't know if you're his manager or how that works, but I mean, I'd like to invite Kofi to come on and talk about what he's doing too, because it seems as though he's plowed through everybody in Utah.
That's because
no one left for him to beat up.
Not to cut you off, but that's because he's training with me, and I don't say that to be cocky.
And old man Pua, you got to admit,
old man Pua. No, really, and that's the reality. Kofi. Yeah. I mean, you got guys that get paid to fight, and you got guys that are professional fighters. Kofi's a legit professional fighter. He takes it as a job. He takes it as a profession. When he comes and trains with me, we have set parameters. We know exactly what we're doing. We're pushing ourselves. We're not trying to hurt each other, but
right. No, Kofi trains hard every time he trains.
I mean, we're there to get a job done, and I want. I'm a world champ. And I want to keep on being a world champ, and he wants to be a world champ, and you got to
Brandon, if you
steel
would,
sharpen steel.
And I hate to cut you out because they're yelling at me in these cool Metal Militia headphones that I've got on, telling me we've got to take a break. So if you wouldn't mind, come back and bring Kofi with you, and we'll talk about what he's got going on. I'd love to talk more about what you guys do to train because, clearly he's got something good going on there, and I think people would like to know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll see what I can get lined up.
All right. Well, Brandon, thank you for coming in. And when you win something else, come back and see us again.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot. Brandon Reese, man, big time stud and a local guy does well. So we're super happy to have him on the program. We're going to be talking to Kyle Herrera when we come back.